Criminal Procedure, Rule 120, Judgment, Section 1. Judgment, Definition and Form. Judgment is the adjudication by the court that the accused is guilty or not guilty of the offense charged, and the imposition on him of the proper penalty and civil liability, if any. It must be written in the official language, personally and directly prepared by the judge and signed by him, and shall contain clearly and distinctly a statement of the facts and the law upon which it is based. Section 2. Contents of the judgment. If the judgment is of conviction, it shall state 1. The legal qualifications of the offense constituted by the acts committed by the accused and the aggravating or mitigating circumstances which attended its commission. 2. The participation of the accused in the offense, whether as principal, accomplice, or accessory. 3. The penalty imposed upon the accused. And 4. The civil liability or damages caused by his wrongful act or omission to be recovered from the accused by the offended party, if there is any, unless the enforcement of the civil liability by a separate civil action has been reserved or waived. In case the judgment is of acquittal, it shall state whether the evidence of the prosecution absolutely failed to prove the guilt of the accused or merely failed to prove his guilt beyond reasonable doubt. In either case, the judgment shall determine if the act or omission from which the civil liability might arise did not exist. Section 3. Judgment for 2 or more offenses. When 2 or more offenses are charged in a single complaint or information, but the accused fails to object to it before trial, the court may convict him of as many offenses as are charged and proved, and impose on him the penalty of each offense, setting out separately the findings of fact and law in each offense. Section 4. Judgment in case of variance between allegations and proof. When there is a variance between the offense charged in the complaint or information and that proof and the offenses as charged is included in or necessarily includes the offense proof, the accused shall be convicted of the offense proof which is included in the offense charge, or of the offense charge which is included in the offense proof. Section 5. When an offense includes or is included in another, an offense charge necessarily includes the offense proof when some of the essential elements or ingredients of the former, as alleged in the complaint or information, constitute the latter. And an offense charge is necessarily included in the offense proof when the essential ingredients of the former constitute or form part of those constituting the latter. Section 6. Promulgation of judgment. The judgment is promulgated by reading it in the presence of the accused and any judge of the court in which it was rendered. However, if the conviction is for a light offense, the judgment may be pronounced in the presence of his counsel or representative. When the judge is absent or outside the province or city, the judgment may be promulgated by the clerk of court. If the accused is confined or detained in another province or city, the judgment may be promulgated by the executive judge of the regional trial court, having jurisdiction over the place of confinement or detention upon request of the court which rendered the judgment. The court promulgating the judgment shall have authority to accept the notice of appeal and to approve the bail bond pending appeal, provided that that if the decision of the trial court convicting the accused changed the nature of the offense from non-bailable to bailable, the application for bail can only be filed and resolved by the appellate court. The proper clerk of court shall give notice to the accused personally or through his bondsman or warden and counsel, requiring him to be present at the promulgation of the decision. If the accused was tried in absentia because he jumped bail or escaped from prison, the notice to him shall be served at his last known address. In case the accused fails to appear at the scheduled date of promulgation of judgment, despite notice, the promulgation shall be made by recording the judgment in the criminal docket and serving him a copy thereof at his last known address or through his counsel. If the judgment is for conviction and the failure of the accused to appear was without justifiable cause, he shall lose the remedies available in these rules against the judgment, and the court shall order his arrest. Within 15 days from promulgation of judgment, however, the accused may surrender and file a motion for leave of court to avail of these remedies. He shall state the reasons for his absence at the scheduled promulgation, and if he proves that his absence was for a justifiable cause, he shall be allowed to avail of said remedies within 15 days from notice. Section 7. Modification of judgment. A judgment of conviction may, upon motion of the accused, be modified or set aside before it becomes final or before appeal is perfected, except where the death penalty is imposed. A judgment becomes final after the lapse of the period for perfecting an appeal, or when the sentence has been partially or totally satisfied or served, or when the accused has waived in writing his right to appeal or has applied for probation. Section 8. Entry of judgment. After a judgment has become final, it shall be entered in accordance with Rules 36. Section 9. Existing provisions governing suspension of sentence, probation, and parole not affected by this rule. Nothing in this rule shall affect any existing provisions in the laws governing suspension of sentence, probation, or parole. Rule 121, New Trial or Reconsideration. New Trial or Reconsideration. At any time before judgment of conviction becomes final, the court may, on motion of the accused, or at its own instance, but with the consent of the accused, grant a new trial or reconsideration. Section 2. Grounds for new trial. The court shall grant a new trial on any of the following grounds. A. That errors of law or irregularities prejudicial to the substantial rights of the accused have been committed during the trial. B. That new and material evidence has been discovered which the accused could not, with reasonable diligence, have discovered and produced at the trial, and which, if introduced and admitted, would probably change the judgment. Again, grounds for new trial. That errors of law or irregularities prejudicial to the substantial rights of the accused have been committed during the trial. B. That new and material evidence has been discovered which the accused could not, with reasonable diligence, have discovered and produced at the trial, and which, if introduced and admitted, would probably change the judgment. Section 3. Ground for reconsideration. The court shall grant reconsideration on the grounds of errors of law or fact in the judgment which requires no further proceedings. Section 4. Form of motion and notice to the prosecutor. The motion for new trial or reconsideration shall be in writing and shall state the grounds on which it is based. If based on a newly discovered evidence, the motion must be supported by affidavits of witnesses by whom such evidence is expected to be given and by duly authenticated copies of documents which are proposed to be introduced in evidence. Notice of the motion for new trial or reconsideration shall be given to the prosecutor. Section 5. Hearing on motion. Where a motion for new trial calls for resolution for any question of fact, the court may hear evidence thereon by affidavits or otherwise. Section 6. Effects of granting a new trial or reconsideration. The effects of granting a new trial or reconsideration are the following. When a new trial is granted on the ground of errors of law or irregularities committed during the trial, all the proceedings and evidence affected thereby shall be set aside and taken anew. The court may, in the interest of justice, allow the introduction of additional evidence. B. When a new trial is granted on the ground of newly discovered evidence, the evidence already adduced shall stand, and the newly discovered and such other evidence as the court may, in the interest of justice, allow to be introduced shall be taken and considered together with the evidence already in the record. C. In all cases, when the court grants new trial or reconsideration, the original judgment shall be set aside or vacated, and a new judgment rendered accordingly.